Let there be light, and there was light. Words of the said God, Mother Eve. The said God is the goddess or God of gods, who of course is the God of vocabulary, intonation, pitch, sounds, vibration, rhythm, tonation. I might have said that. But that's Mother Eve. And the God of words. The God of words would mean that Mother Eve is also the God of letters. Letters is also Latins. Okay, so I have been thinking about the word believe, where Christ have talked about, wow, I wanted to really have this presentation at a different approach, but however, I'm going to go along with it. So the initial thing was really about seeing how the word, how we acquire our names. Basically, it's really about, because we have been exploring the gods. We have been exploring their position. That's it. Get in there. We have been exploring the characteristics, C-H-A-R, characteristics. Okay. All right. Okay. We have been exploring the characteristics. Now we have been exploring their positions. Their positions. That I'm talking about the 14 gods in Genesis, but particularly the 9 gods in Genesis of chapter 1. We have been exploring that. And their position, of course, would let us understand what is really where they lie, so to speak, where they lie. Now that's the lie that we have been talking about, that we were fed a lie, because we are talking about position. Position is, it gives the position gives a sense of location. So where we have the location, we could say that something is stagnant, or it is still, or it lies. But in that whatever position, once there is not movement, then we could say that, okay, something lied there, or it stood there, or it's just there, however we want to make of it. But we see with doing that position also gives us the insight of their characteristics even more. That would be before they really came alive. Coming alive in that sense is where there is movement. Hence, in Genesis of chapter 1, the word moved is only used once. It's as if we only needed one movement and everything else rippled into position, we could say. Okay, so I'm looking at, I've been fascinated with the word believe in that sense, because why I bring in the word believe, because of course that's one of Christ's main teachings, but this is also coinciding with a video that I made too, looking at twin flames, Adam and Eve. So we see that the word believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E. So what I really want to point out, which I have done this in previous presentations, but is to show that the same way psychologists have always, for as long as I don't know, things might have changed, because there's always new findings and new revelations, deeper understanding and knowledge. But we are also always, we have been told that, for instance, for speed reading, if we read the first few words, or the first word, or first few words and the last few words of a sentence, the brain is wired to feeling, it is wired to feeling the middle part, which would be, for instance, in this sense of the word believe, there would be the word lie. So basically, psychologists are telling us that we have already given life or given rise to the first letter or words, or if it were a word as well, but the beginning and the end. So we are looking at beginning and end, but not paying attention so much to what is in the middle. Now that has been a way of we have been conditioned to learn and formulate, make sense of our world. In fact, we are pretty good at filling in the gap. So whatever we don't quite understand, we have ways of filling in that gap to make meaning of what it is we want to understand, which is the be and the Eve. So basically, we're here in the word believe, there is a message saying to be Eve. Be like Eve. Be Eve. So there we have the word be, and there we have the word Eve. Of course, a lot of times we know how we have been taught. Again, it's like learning this, the way this word has been structured is also typical of what the point I am making. It's really saying we don't have to have the full word lie in the middle, although it is there, L-I-E, because our brain would automatically work out that we do not need to ease in this word here to say be and L-I-E and have a separate E to have E-V-E. So this is what the whole story of Adam and Eve seemed to have been as well. So the story here is like saying be, and that was Christ's teaching, believe in your heart, be Eve in your heart. So Eve was seen as being cast to the ground, being laid or prostrate on the ground like a snake, like we see with the movie the Ten Commandments, like a rod. It would have been rigid, going along or whatever it is, or being but of course it also knew how to climb the tree, how to be on the tree. So we see that in all religious practices, for instance, the serpent is perhaps secretly reverent for its audacious or spirit, or its wisdom. I think it's his wisdom, because we were told that of all creatures, the serpent was the wisest of all creatures that God created. Now, there's the thing. If it was the wisest of all creatures that God created, and we are creatures, we need to be modeling ourselves after a creature, after what we are, which is Mother Eve. Mother Eve was the serpent in the Garden of Eden, because it's to say we are in this body form and we want to model ourselves after God or the invisible God, which Mother Eve is still part of us in this invisible realm. It's not to say that there is not a God, the Spirit God, but Mother Eve is the Spirit God. So Mother Eve is the Spirit God who has shown us how to be flat, lie on the floor, like I say, be like a toddler, play and crawl along, and help you till you make your first step. And then you take your rise. This is why we are asked to have faith. The word faith, F-A-I-T-H, is 6, 1, 9, 2, 8. And when we add this together, this is 10, 20, 26. 2 plus 6 is 8. So to have faith, meaning to be whole, Now we see faith is 8, and that's the 8 we are talking about when Mother Eve ate. Oh, my writing is being erased again. Mother Eve ate, because the word ate or ate equals 8. And this is the 8 we are talking. The scriptures were written in a mathematical construct, and it also has a lot of wit, which is wisdom. It also have a lot of wisdom. That's why we are, particularly in Proverbs, we are asked to seek wisdom. He is always, or the kings were always talking to my son, always the son. I think there was perhaps one time, oh, be mindful about the woman who's on the street, because she could lead you to whatever. This is where it is talking about the woman can lead you astray, or she could lead you to places you don't want to go, because she is there to teach, to show you, because she knows all the back streets, if you like. She knows all the corners, and she knows, and that's Mother Eve. Mother Eve is the serpent. She is not just going straight like she was on a motorway. No, she is subtle. She can be rigid. She can be soft. She can be curved. She can be straight, and all of those functions. So this is why here in the middle of the word believe we have lie. Now let's do the numerical value for the word lie. Now there is a reason why I am bringing this up, and I'm hoping I can put it in this one presentation. So there we are. This is also, this here, the word lie is 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. Now, the other thing that is so important for us to acknowledge, the word, the number 17 is in direct correlation with the word God, which is 764. When we add this together, this is 10, 17. Of course, 17 was also in direct correlation, I think, with Moses, also with Abraham, I think, as well. But I'm just pointing this out to show how God has been reflected in all of these teachings that we have had. And so with 17 here, so this is really saying, well, Mother Eve is the God, like I have been saying, is the God of gods here, who was lying. She's in the middle of everything, but her position, this is a position taken here. This is a position lie. Oh, L-I-E, sorry. So we see there is another position here that Mother Eve had taken right here. And so L-I-E, and this here is, as we say, in the middle. So basically, oftentimes we are just dealing with the outskirts of something and not going to the core of it. The word believe is actually permitting us and encouraging us, to go within. Know what you are believing in. Know what you are going to invest your faith in. And when you actually do that, it's not a question. I'm beginning to understand the word believe has so much more to it. It's not just saying, oh, I believe this. You are reasoning your belief. You are weighing it. You are calculating what you are believing. You need to have something to substantiate your belief. You need to have that faith. Now, that's why faith is in direct correlation here with the word lie. It is 8. And it's, so God is 8, faith is 8, and we have the word lie 8, which coincides perfectly with that which Mother Eve ate of the fruit of the good and evil. So basically, in the word believe itself is presenting you you are dealing with the with the fruit of good and evil. So in that fruit, you are weighing the scale, so to speak. You are weighing the scale of good and evil. And it's taking us to a stage where it's like, for instance, it's getting you to balance a situation until you begin to see, well, it's not about a good and bad, a wrong and right, and making certain judgments, but it becomes like a knowing, but the belief aspect is always there. You believe you know. Sometimes it's just that you believe you know. Okay, and of course I think the word know equals 6 or 9, but 6 or 9 is really the same when we do them, either numerical values or the word value. Well, they both would be numerical value, but okay, right, or the number symbol, which is what I mean. So we see how the whole story that we are engaged with is about the number 8. And now we are in this 8th phase that Mother Eve has called us to say, really, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Therefore, we are being asked now, where is our faith? What do we believe in? And how are we going to apply our faith in what we believe? What position are we going to take with the gods that we are learning about? Or even Mother Eve, when Mother Eve said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and we later on, further down in the scriptures, the God who made, which was Adam then, made man in his own image and likeness. Now, of course, Mother Eve was the one who wrote the script of what would be the beginning and the end in this sense. So why was she really bothered at all? No, everything had its timing, its phase, because she had already designed or put in motion days for seasons and years for nights, or days for season and nights for and the years for nights, or something to that effect. Okay, so but the years for nights does not sound correct, but however, but it's like saying there was a time scale introduced. So basically Mother Eve knew everything about that, what the time scale entailed, because she was the one who said, let there be lights in the firmament to give light upon the earth, and let them be for seasons, let them be for days and years, and signs and seasons. That's it. So basically we can see that it's in the word when it has taken form and taken form, and that there's a rise, when there's motion, when there is interaction or engagement in whatever we are participating in, that's when we give rise to it. So I was thinking about this subject. In fact, I was listening to one of the videos that I made, and I talked about a cake that has been mixed. It's all mixed in the mixing bowl. You have the flour, the sugar, the cream, the eggs, and everything. I'm not really one for baking. So, and you have, knowing me, I probably would have forgotten to add something in this sense. But then you have the rising agent. You put that in there, but it hadn't had the heat, the oven temperature to give rise to it. So I was listening to this and I was thinking, okay, because my last cake that I baked, it was really flat. It was flat. I think I opened the oven too soon or whatever it was, or probably didn't have a rising agent. Now I'm talking about over 30 years ago, so I don't really. Now I know within my heart I can bake a cake, but does it really matter? No, I have concluded it doesn't really matter because I'm not into, well, cakes as such, or have the zeal for it. But the point I am making is that there is something very necessary to give rise to whatever it is that is in the middle. There is something, so there is a lie. When something's flat on the floor or in any position, we say it lies on the surface. It lies on the surface of wherever it is. And that's what has happened. We have discovered the lie that we were fed or we were given or we had to play with, because it's the game. It's a game. We have been playing with a lie on the surface. But the lie is in the middle, as in the word believe, to permit us to go further in, to deep into the core of that position. What is it doing there in the middle? Why are we having to find ourselves in the middle of to where it's B? B is the beehive as well, and in the middle of Eve. Why was Christ teaching a lot about believe, believe, believe? That's what I keep saying, believe, believe, believe. Now let us see. There is the thing. If we do the word, this 2, 5, and then we have 4, 5. So this would be 7 here. To be is to be 7 or 7. I can't help thinking of 7 as being severed as well, cutting away, like when something is severed. And then 4 plus 5 is 9. Of course, 9 is birthing, newness, completion, and so on. And so we see, of course, the lie is in the middle, as we say, really is like a hole. Now that's where we get we get stung, if you like, because on one side we have the beehive to deal with, and of course this is not very far from the word beehive. When we look at it, is the H is not there, but it's almost like a beehive. So of course 8 is the symbol of infinity, but I often say we need to look at 8 as though it was a rubber band that you had just thrown on the table, and it gets twisted by the movement of or the motion that it was placed with. And then, but we all know that a rubber band is a circle. The 8 is a circle and the rubber band is a circle. So basically, the Eve attitude or notion is there, which is there on either side, our left and our right, where we are severed from the 9, if you like, because the 9 is birth, is new birth, it's beginning and it's also ending right there too. It's that 0, it's the 0 here, and a 1 to it. It also denotes like 10. So 10 is where we have the masculine and the feminine as well. So let's do it here. So we have 10. Of course, they would change position because there's movement. So you would have the 0 onto this side, and this is what forms the 9. Of course, it is a bit like saying, well, I'm saying something very profound here too. The number 7 actually is 1 when we do, okay, so when we do 7 as the word 7, S-E-V-E-N, no, when we do the word 1, sorry, the word 1, O-N-E is 655. When we add these together, that gives us 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. So we see how there is one hair. B to B is 1. To B is asking us to take side here, to take a side here. This is a position in itself. This is a position. So we are 7 really being asked to be a 9. That is a process taking place. Of course, we are being asked to take this position of 7, which is 1, so to be 1 to 9, basically to be 1 to 9. Now 1 to 9 is that to be whole. So to be whole now requires us, sometimes we do find ourselves as if we have fallen in a hole, or we have fallen in a lie. This is where we make all kinds of accusations. We have been deceived. There's the word again, because Eve is in the word deceive. And these are words that we need to really deconstruct to understand that they don't necessarily need to have that emotional impact or energy that we give them. When we fully understand, well, we have a responsibility to deconstruct the word, find the wisdom in it, have a smile at the end of the day and say, well, thank you very much for teaching me the lesson of the wisdom that you have asked me to seek, or divine spirit have led me to you for this experience. It didn't feel nice, but now it is just so funny. So there we are with the word lie again, with number 8. As I say, this is where we need clarity. When we get this clarity, we can equip ourselves with confidence to say, yes, I have something to contribute to the new man, the making of the new man in the 5th and 8th dimension. This is the 8th phase of Mother Eve, when she says, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Now, I would like to think that I have some kind of input or contribution to that man, or that my mere existence was in a way that one could say, yes, it's just like people carrying a donor card or something like that, feeling, yes, I feel very good that someone could use my heart after I've gone on to the other realm or the other side. And so this is what we are saying here. So there is so much more to this here, but as we say, the word Eve is at the end. It's like Christ's teaching was very much about Eve. Now, sometimes I think this is about the second time I'm saying this, I'm believing the whole Christ was really Eve, because Christ was very nurturing, like having the divine feminine attributes. Clearly, it's no wonder why you don't hear much about him being in or being married or anything in a sexual way, or how a man would be. But you know, of course, maybe that's why, of course, people, or the masculine, the divine masculine was thinking, no, we want this guy on our side. We want to know that we have the capability of nurturing as much as Eve does. And also, that makes sense too, because it would make Eve feel good too, to know that she can nurture the divine masculine enough that he becomes equipped to do the same, to nurture a nation, a people, a kingdom, kindreds, whatever it is. So that in itself, of course, Mother Eve is not really about gender in this stage, but of course, we are talking about the story of Adam and Eve. This is why we are making those distinctions. It's like saying, okay, your body, for instance, consists of the heart and the brain. And of course, we can see scientists have always been about, are we making decisions from our head or are we making decisions from our heart? We go back and forth, but it's all part of the body, the same spirit, the same mind we are dealing with. Okay, so it's just about getting to know ourselves, because we know our left hand and we know our right hand or left eye and so on. And so we are able to, it's like a wonderful meal. You are able to identify the different flavors of it. Okay, I had to bring in food somehow. I must be well of Mother Eve. Now, so talking about the lie in hair, something that really struck me. So I'm hoping I really can deal with this. Something that really struck me, of course, we have seen the position or the characteristics of the God. We are looking at the position of the gods. We had seen with the God who created was in, I think, 3 verses of Genesis of chapter 1 and 2 verses of Genesis of chapter 2. So here we see the position of 3 again. Like I said, I believe Mother Eve is very passionate about the L letter, which is the word let. She uses this first word, the first letter is L, of course, and that is love. It is also life, and it's also life, as we can see. But what I was saying earlier about listening to one of my videos, and I thought, I get it. I really get it. Everything we are given is a lie. The word every has in it Eve, Mother Eve, of course. Everything we have been given is a lie. If, for instance, your mother feeds, or a mother feeds the baby with a teaspoon of porridge, for instance, that porridge can stay in that teaspoon, and it's just porridge in the teaspoon. But when the baby takes in that spoonful of porridge, it becomes digested. Then we know, we can say, oh, it has vitamins in it. Of course, there is analysis that happens before all of that, but it becomes alive then in the baby. It takes its place. It takes rise in the baby's mouth. The flavors become alive. The baby can let the mother know whether she likes the food or not, or whether it is sweet or whether it is hot, or if it's too hot, if it is delicious, because all that is a deliciousness is a matter of perspective. So the baby lets the mother know, well, is it delicious? Is it hot? Is it too cold? Is it likable? Is it good for me? Because is there an adverse reaction? Do I come up with a rash after eating it? No, the baby is letting the mother know, well, this is good. It makes me glow. It makes me grow. It makes me, it energizes me. It makes me happy. I am okay now. I have finished eating. So there was a lie in the food when it was just in the plate. If it was just in the plate, it was just a lie until it was digested. Now we are able to, I could hear myself saying, oh, this is really the matrix. It needed an agent to make it come alive. And then I get it. We are really, according to the Matrix, the movie The Matrix, like Agent Smith, we are really agents. So, in the word believe, we need, or it requires, agents to make it come alive. And of course, we see in the word believe is also the word live. This is Mother Eve being very smart. Some would say cunning. L-I-V-E. There it is, L-I-V-E. Now, even in the word live in itself is Mother Eve. But of course, this is how we have been taught to be able to get into the core of the word believe, or anything for that matter. It is not E here. We've had to change the E if it was Eve, because that's why E and I is really more or less synonymous in their positions or in their uses. We change them one for the other in our language, but these are symbols. These letters are symbols that carry great significance right here. So when we understand how we are agents or participants, we participate as agents. This is like eating anything. We are the motion that or energy that we are giving to what we are eating. We give it, we are the rising agent, or we are the heat that ignites the rising agent in there. So we are agents, but we are also the temperature. We also are the tempers or the temperature, the gauge. We are the ones also monitoring the dial of that gauge. So this is very, very important that we understand the word believe. And when we understand that, like later on I would have to do the word deceive as well, because these are just words we are told about. Satan, which is Mother Eve, have come to deceive us. This is really the two sides of Mother Eve as the serpent. The serpent or the snake. So the serpent is really the S. So here we could say is the belief side, and we could also say the other side is the this is a funny serpent, really. Okay. So of course the serpent is really like, okay, but we could see that the serpent here, Mother Eve, one is like the D, one is the B. One is deceive, one is believe. One has the L, which is what I say about Mother Eve. When we see the L has a sacred function to it. Like I I said with the first word Mother Eve uttered, which is let, which has, it equals 10, which is 3, 5, 2. Of course, that equals 10. That first letter is the symbol, is very significant because it is one motion, not like the E where I have to do this. It is one motion in two direction, and three points. So it consists of one motion, 2 direction, and 3 points. So it's 1, 2, 3. When we add this together, it becomes 6. So that's what Mother Eve is offering us, the acknowledgement of who we are. So much so that the word believe, as if we were to add all this together, 7, 8, and 9 would be, and there's we could see of course, I did this, okay, let's do it this way. 7, 8, 9 is 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. Now, if we did these all separately, it would be number 33, which is another stamp of Jesus Christ. Let's do it. I'm just looking at the time. Okay, all right, the 39 steps. Okay, so this is 2, 5, 3, 9, 5, 4, 5. Okay, 5, this is 10, this is 23, 26, 26, 31, 32, 33. There we are. Now, we can see why Christ used this word quite a lot, believe, which is also the same as the word Genesis. Genesis. Now, I'm glad to remember the word Genesis, because when I remembered saying, oh, that means it needs the rising agent. When something is flat, it requires the rising agent. We are the specialists of the agents. We are the agents specialized in lies, if you like. We need to give whatever it is rise. We need to understand what's in the middle, what needs doing to give rise to it. So that's again coinciding with Christ laying in the tomb. He laid in the tomb, and of course he had to come. There had to be a rise. That's what it's all about. Okay, so agent, of course, the word agent has this G-E-N in it, like in the word Genesis or the word gene, again because of the way we have been, because everything has to have a little lie in it, so we have to give it rise to understand, well, the word agent is really the word a gene. A gene. Of course, the T is where it gets stamped. It's a gene T. Okay, perhaps it's actually tea, like a drink. Okay, so let's do this. 7, 5, 5, 5. Again, I always say where we see all these fives, Mother Eve is very present, like in the word believe, had three fives as well. So 1, 9, 1. Okay, so this is 10, 20, 32, 33. 33. This is Genesis right there, the 2 3s. And of course, this is already saying that there were 2 sets of creation in that Genesis. Yes. Okay. Now, about the lie. Now, I will do another presentation to really coincide with this, because I came across something that really got me on this path, because I really still want to explore the position of the gods. And that's why sometimes I look at what's in the middle of their function. For instance, the word, so the God of create, for instance, we could see in the middle of create, or in create, or if we were to say there's, okay, the first and last letter, or take everything here, we would see R-A-T-E, or whatever it is, and then we have 3 and 5 at the end, which forms 8, which of course 8 is that we are talking about the whole again. Now we would have to make sense of what is in the middle, or the air, E-A-R. There's the word air right there. So by looking at those things, we are making sense of our world, but we need to be conscious of how we are deconstructing those words. And that means then we know what we are applying into making this man in our image and likeness. When Mother Eve says in our image and likeness, that is the number 9 Mother Eve is actually referring to have that completion. So we see trying to squeeze this in. The number 33 actually is 6, but when we do the numerical value for the word 9, which is what Mother Eve is trying to get us to complete, this is 5955. Adding these together, we have 1924. 2 plus 4 is 6. So this is it. 6 is 9 right here, or 9 is also 6, and that's what Mother Eve wants us to understand. Like on the template, when we are doing the word sacrifice, the sacrifice is really that we may actually fall in the hole, or explore, risk, whatever it is necessary to get into the middle of the lie, understand the lie, and then be the agent to give it rise, so then we can actually have life. Yes. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this. I have immensely. Okay, so if you like this or any part of this presentation, please give us a thumbs up. And I do want to thank you so dearly for stopping by, and do share this video. I think it may be a breath of fresh air for people, because I don't know anyone else doing this in the way that I do, or no one else does things in, we are not really we are being how would I put it, we are doing what we are meant to be doing. So just being constructive, being agents, put it this way, of this new 8th phase that we are moving into. Thank you very much, and let's spill over with love. That's the L word.